Hi everyone, this is Grammy Peg, and my name is Peg Lewis. I call myself Grammy Peg, and I am going to talk tonight on lead selfies. This is a homegrown Grammy sort of technique for growth in a home business that relies on meeting people online. And it's on the subject tonight of the importance of email addresses and how to update them and the side benefits of doing that. So let's say that you have a long-term business, one that has been going on for several years, and then you decide to send out a mailing. And what happens? You send out the mailing, but a lot of the email addresses bounce. You might even have some old email addresses that you sometimes get mail into, or maybe they've expired entirely. I think back to Earthlink and other kinds of addresses I've had in the past. So we have old email addresses, and what are we going to do about that? We might even have a long list of them, and we might send out a mailing and get lots of bounces. The last time I did that, after a big long pause, I had 63 bounces. That's 63 blessed, wonderful people who I couldn't reach anymore through email. So one of the things we're going to talk about is what to do about them. Or you could be totally brand new at a home business, and you might have no names at all, or you might have the names of a few friends, a few relatives, for maybe a high school classmate, and that's about it. And you need to get some more. You know that you want a significantly bigger list than the 14 that you currently have. Okay, so in both cases, we want to have a good, real robust list of our contacts because we want to dribble on them. They're at a distance, so that's not as bad as it sounds, but we want to be able to have, if we have good material, we want to be able to sprinkle that material on them and have them over time get used to what it is that we're promoting. Okay, so what do you do? Well, the first thing is that let's take the person who doesn't have any names first, because that is the more drastic situation. Then what you want to do is buy a little spiral notebook, just one of these little ones, spiral notebook. Keep it in your purse. It will remind you that you are looking for email addresses from the people that you meet. Now, this is not a great big, huge, beautiful, professional, leather-bound anything that might be scary to people. This is a spiral notebook, and they all have them at home. And so when you meet somebody, you can tell them, hey, I have a health newsletter that comes out, or I have whatever it is that you have, and it comes out from time to time. Or what I like to say is I subscribe myself to this great health newsletter, and they let me share it with other people. And would you like to get it? Well, yeah, sure, okay, And so you say, could you write down your name and address and maybe your phone number? I need your email address so that they can send it to you, because it comes in your email. And they do that. When they do that, they've given you permission. And by having that little notebook there, you're not going to leave all the names in the notebook. After somebody does that and you are off in another part of the store or the place where you've met them, you're going to tear that out and put that in your purse, because you don't want to look like this notebook is for collecting names for your newsletter. You want that to be a rather spontaneous kind of thing, and you just happen to have this little notebook. So that's just a small addition to the technique. If you forget to tear one out, flip it over to the other end and have them write it on there. And it doesn't need to be fancy or anything, as long as you can read it. You might want to verify what it actually says, though, and see if you can get the phone number at the same time. That would be really great. You can ask them. One of my favorite questions to ask people, even when I'm meeting them, is, are you on Facebook? And they say, oh yeah, I'm on Facebook. Well, can we be they're not going to look me in the eye and say, no, we can't be friends. They're going to say, sure. So I'm going to say, how do I find you on there? What is, what's in your picture? Or do you know your your Facebook address or something like that? Or I can give them mine. And so they get in touch with me, I get in touch with them, and then we can chat on Messenger. And that's another whole story. That's a great way to get to know somebody better. And it's kind of a good hybrid to do when you're doing the newsletter collecting the email addresses for the newsletter too. Okay, now here comes the harder part. Think of my 63 bounces. And I have to tell you that my list goes back to 1998. So these people, we don't know what's happened to these people, but we do know that we're not going to keep sending them emails, email newsletters, keeping them on the list, hoping that somehow they're going to resurrect themselves, because it doesn't work that way in the internet. So how are you going to find these people? Well, I used to go to Google, but it's kind of not as successful as I would like. But we do have Facebook. We do have the other media. Wherever you hang out, that's where your friends hang out. So you can go to Facebook and you can start searching for people, and there may be enough clues in there so that you are actually able to figure out which one it is. If not, then you might go to one of the other media, to Instagram, to LinkedIn, to one of the places that is likely where they might end up being. They might even have an Etsy shop. You want to go see if you can do a little bit of scouting out. Now, if you know a young person, this is the kind of person that you want to cultivate, because what if you paid them $1 for everyone they came up with? So for $63, I could have 63 good, solid, adult potential leads. That's a really good price. And plus your little neighbor or your little grandchild or your friend who would love some loose change is very, very grateful to you for doing that. So that's a very nice way of doing it. So now let's see if there's anything else that I've missed. Well, yes, there are thousands of other ways that you can go about finding people. You can even call up somebody in their family that you used to know, and so on. It depends on how diligent you want to be and how much you care about them, because I can tell you, out of the 63, there's about half of them that I suspect I would want to be in touch with again. Although the other day when my newsletter went out, one of the people who always told me that she had no interest in what I did or what my business was or anything else clicked on my newsletter 10 times. So people grow up. People all grow up one time or another. So those are my tips for developing your email list and correcting it and finding the lost people from your life from before, or starting again and having the tools right there in your purse to get people's email addresses so that you can be really connected with them on whatever level you want to be. So this is Peg Lewis, AKA Grammy Peg, with my tip for the night. Thank you for listening.